Hello, everyone. Welcome to the English Talk Studio channel. I'm Tom. We are genuinely excited and happy to be here with you again today. If you are taking your first steps into English, there is no need to worry. This podcast is for listeners who are new to learning English.
Hello, beautiful people. I'm Sarah. In this podcast, we speak slowly and clearly, we use simple words, and we do our best for you. Feel free while listening, pause whenever you want, rewind whenever you need. There is no rule, no pressure.
Today, we are going to talk about a very helpful topic, but before that, we want to make a short introduction. Because many students start studying English with unnecessarily big goals. Each day, I must study at least 1 hour. Tonight, I must do long reading sessions. But what happens? On the third day, their motivation drops to zero.
Yes, this can happen to everyone because everyone has a life. Sometimes you come home from school and feel tired. Sometimes your mood is low. Sometimes you can't find any time for yourself. Big goals always look beautiful, but only if they are sustainable. That's why many people start unconsciously.
I made the same mistake many times. Last year, I started learning Spanish with great excitement. I focused on big goals. Every day 1 hour, Tom. You can do it. Now, when I think about it, it sounds really funny. The first 2 days were fine, then I began to fall off. I stopped for a moment and said to myself, Tom, something is wrong here.
This is completely natural, Tom, because the problem is not you or the English learner. The problem is the system itself. As the goal gets bigger, the brain tries to protect itself and says, let's not do it today.
This is why today we will explain a small but very powerful method that truly works. The 5-minute habit.
The idea of this system is very simple. Every day you study English by giving just 5 minutes, you heard it right, only 5 minutes. The reason is that the brain sees a 5-minute task as easy. It says, I can do this.
Exactly as you said, Sarah. 5 minutes sounds small, and that's why it works. Big goals push you away, but small goals actually bring you closer to your target. The brain sees a 5-minute study as low energy.
The exciting part is this. After you start studying, most of the time you go beyond 5 minutes. But even if you don't, it's not a problem because you completed the most important part, starting. 5 minutes a day becomes an automatic habit after 1 week.
Yes, small routines that you do without thinking, just like brushing your teeth. After a while, studying English becomes just as automatic.
In a moment, we will explain how you can use this 5-minute system, why it is so effective, and how easily it fits into your life. We will even continue through a real situation that Tom personally experienced.
Yes, because this system was literally like restarting my life. But before we begin, I want to say one thing. If you love learning English as much as we do, you can leave a heart in the comments. Let's begin. Now I want to start the story from the very beginning. At that time, after I stopped working with big goals, I started to feel bad. I was thinking, am I not going to succeed? Or am I not a disciplined person? But after a short time, I understood the mistake. The problem wasn't me. It was my method.
Yes, I understand you, Tom. Most students feel the same emotions. They say, why am I not progressing? Would it have been better if I didn't quit? And they blame themselves. But the issue is not the studying, it's the system. The brain sees big plans as a threat, so to protect its system, it sends the signal. Don't start, this is not for us.
I agree. Then one day I read something. It said, if you want to start a habit, reduce the time. Even lower it to the smallest amount possible for you. When I read this, I told myself, the smallest time, how many minutes could this be for English?
And then you switch to the 5-minute system, right?
Yes. I said, Tom, the 5-minute system is ideal for you. On the first day, I really studied for 5 minutes. On the second and third day, I did 5 minutes again. Here is the funny part. On most days, I didn't stop at 5 minutes, I continued. Because I had already started, and continuing was the easiest part.
This is why the 5-minute system works so easily. Starting is easy, continuing becomes natural. For the brain, small tasks are nice. It says, just a small job, we can do it.
And habits are formed according to the difficulty level of the beginning. If the beginning is easy, the habit is also easy.
Let's summarize the situation so far. Big goal, the brain resists. Small goal, the brain relaxes. 5 minutes micro habit that starts with the lowest energy.
There is also the automation part. For a habit to become automatic, the brain needs to say, we repeat this every day. And this is possible not with the duration, but with repetition. So it's not that 5 minutes is short, it's that 5 minutes is done every day.
Yes, it can't become a habit in any other way. Today, studying 1 hour is not important. What matters is that if you did 5 minutes today, you can repeat it on the next days.
Now let's get to how the system works. To make it easy for our listeners to understand, we will explain the steps very simply and very clearly.
Give yourself just a 5-minute task every day. For example, listening to a short podcast episode, reading a short news headline, or repeating 3 words.
Step 2. Place those 5 minutes into a fixed time in your day. For example, while preparing your morning coffee, before getting into bed at night, or while waiting for the bus.
Step 3. After you finish the time, you don't have to stop, but you must complete the 5-minute duration. This sends a signal to the brain. This is a very easy task.
Step 4. Continue the same 5-minute task for 1 week without breaking the system. After 1 week, you will notice something. Studying English has now become a routine, just like brushing your teeth.
The brain will no longer resist you to prevent you from starting. Because the task is simple, no weight, no stress. And the sweetest part, the feeling of I should do it today too, slowly comes to you.
Yes, with this feeling, you take the first step into automation. This means the habits have started running themselves. Even if you don't pay attention, your inner voice triggers you by saying, come on, you can do just 5 minutes.
In a moment, we will give you a few small examples about this system. This way you can create your own routine much more easily.
At the same time, this method makes it possible for you to study even on days when you have no motivation. The reason is that the thought of just 5 minutes creates a very light pressure on you. Very small, but it moves you forward.
Yes, friends, now we will move on to how the system looks in real life. We will talk through a few examples.
Now let's move on to how the 5-minute system works in daily life. The theory is nice, but without real examples, it feels empty. For this, we will show you a few very simple and applicable routines.
Let's start with the first example, the coffee routine. While preparing your morning coffee, you open a short English podcast on the side. Pay attention, only 5 minutes. When your coffee is ready, your 5-minute English session is also finished. Both easy and natural.
Second example, 5 minutes after waking up. In the morning, before dealing with anything, you spend just 5 minutes reading something in English. It could be a paragraph. It could be a news headline. It's a very short and classic method, but starting the day with English really makes a difference.
5 minutes before sleep. Before sleeping, you go to bed. Your phone is on silent, and for 5 minutes, you repeat simple English sentences. A light brain exercise before sleep supports memory very well.
Now let's make these examples a bit more practical. Let's do a small repetition section that our listeners can use immediately.
Yes, I think everyone is ready right now. You don't have to say it out loud, but loud repetitions always give better results.
If you're ready, repeat. I can study for 5 minutes today. 5 minutes is enough. Small steps create big habits.
Very good. Now let's bring a few more repetitions into a daily routine. If you're ready, repeat. While my coffee is being prepared today, I will listen to English. Before going to bed tonight, I will definitely do a 5-minute review. I will move forward with small steps every day.
We are progressing very well. Small repetitions like these help the brain turn English into a daily routine. It sees it not as an obligation, but as a natural part of life.
And when you repeat this for 1 week without a break, you will notice that your brain starts to automate it. Because when the brain receives the message, we do 5 minutes every day, it begins to remind the behavior on its own.
I tested this on many of my students, and I received the same reaction from all of them. Teacher, for the first time I'm not getting tired while studying English. It even started to become quite enjoyable. This is proof of how correct and how strong this system works.
We are slowly approaching the final part of the episode. We will talk about why the 5-minute system is so permanent and how you can continue this habit as you move forward. Now let's talk about why the 5-minute system works so effectively. Because sometimes people move forward in a motivated way at the beginning, but after a few days they stop repeating. In this system, the situation is different. Because 5 minutes is the amount of time the brain says, "This is very easy, I can do it."
Yes, and this is why habits form. When the brain adapts to the habit, it stops pushing you. Instead, it pulls you toward studying. For example, suddenly an inner motivation comes saying, "Come on, just 5 minutes." This shows that automation has started.
From this moment on, studying becomes enjoyable. It doesn't feel like a duty. It feels like a simple moment of the day, just like drinking water, walking, or brushing your teeth. A small but very effective system.
Now let's make a small summary. Big goals are tiring. Small goals are sustainable. 5 minutes removes the starting barrier. When repeated every day, the brain turns it into an automatic behavior. Over time, studying English becomes natural and effortless.
Now we have a small request for you. Today, give yourself this promise. Today, I will study English for 5 minutes. Just today. Tomorrow, you will promise again. In this way, you will connect the chains that seem impossible.
As English Talk Studio, moving forward with you brings us indescribable happiness. In the next episode, together we will learn a new routine, a new habit, and a new mini technique, and this way we will continue progressing.
Take care of yourselves. Take small steps. You can definitely succeed in this journey. And remember this, moving forward slowly is not a weakness, it is part of the strategy.
If you liked this episode, you can write this sentence in the comments. I am starting with 5 minutes. This both motivates you and helps our community grow. See you in the next episode, friends. Goodbye.